When you have a basic problem, what's the value in writing it out at this level of detail? Why do you think that I, who could have done this problem in 3 seconds, carefully wrote it out across 7 lines? Someone struggles to add 17 plus 80 plus 15 in their head, which they made, and they just write 122, 0 points out of 10. Whereas this would probably be 9 points out of 10, or even 10 points out of 10. Yeah, to see the steps, you want to see the structure or the steps. So what's important here is you're kind of burning into your brain how looks when you break down a problem into multiple different cases. So you're making this connection of, okay, I have all the books in my friend's room and they have bio, math, and thank you, and sci-fi, and these are all the books, and I'm only choosing one, but what's really important is I've covered all of the cases and I'm adding up all the cases. You want to practice it in a way that even when the problems get harder, it stands up. That's what I'm trying to say. Playing soccer by yourself, you can probably just flick it however you want and it'll go in the goal. But if you practice it that way consistently, as soon as there's somebody in front of you, it's not going to go. Think about not just getting through this one particular problem. So now let's start with the same setup. At 17 biology books, 80 math books, and 15 sci-fi books. Here we just added the numbers up. What would be a problem that we could create with this same boilerplate setup, but where we would need to multiply? Because how many ways can we choose 3 books? Let's make this be a question and let's accept that maybe we'll be able to answer this question, maybe we won't, but either way we'll learn. This is a new question, let's call it Q2. We have 17 biology books, 80 math books, and 15 sci-fi books, and the question is how many ways can we choose 3 books? Can I just multiply 17 times 80 times 50? You say no. I see a couple people shaking their head no. So you're saying it's too big of a number. How do you know that? How do you know though? Like you're just telling me as a fact it's too big. I need justification. I could just say, well, that number is too large and I'm the expert, but you have to justify it. So this gets into our question. One of the things we want to emphasize in this class how will I know if I actually have the right answer? Because it's easy, but in real life, you can't just ask the wizard, is this right? You have to justify in some way. So this is why even when the problems look very simple at the outset, we want to get in the habit of justifying, kind of bulletproof way. One of the beautiful things about math is we have the opportunity to be certain. But that also means that if we're not sure, that's okay. We can be certain that we don't know that. And that's comforting too somehow. And let's come up with a simpler question. So what I'm proposing to you that we do is what's called the Polya principle. And this is named after the great mathematician who wrote a book called How to Solve It. If there is a question you do not know for sure how to solve, there must be a related question that you do know for sure how to solve. Find it. Can we come up with something else where we do know for sure that multiplication would be the correct approach? We can use multiplication kind of slot by slot or task by task or step by step when we have step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. When we can lay out the steps one after the other. So if we are asked to choose 1 bio book, 1 math book, and 1 sci-fi book, if we're asked to choose 1 bio book, 1 math book, and 1 sci-fi book, then we can use this because we can break this up into steps. Step 1, choose the bio book. There's 17 ways to do that. Step 2, choose the math book. There are 80 ways to do that. And then step 3, choose the sci-fi. And there are 15 ways to do that. A step-by-step process where we're going to go through this process and we will have done what was asked. The answer would be 17 times 80 times 15. The question is, are you just throwing everything in one, are you breaking it up into different cases, but you're only going to be coming from one of the single cases? So here I'm thinking about there being a bio slot, a math slot, and a sci-fi slot. And I need one of each. So I'm doing 3 different